that's where I'd been. I didn't ask him before. That's where I assumed everybody lived, but
I know.
We'll stop playing with buttons now.
we've gotten our instructions.
It's better than look a different way.
Good evening and welcome to the school board meeting of the Fairmont Area Schools this Tuesday, September 12th. For roll call, all members are present with the exception of Mike Edmond and our student board members who are away at activities. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have the minutes before you. If any of you have had a chance to read that, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve. I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Julie, second by Mari to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. For the agenda, we have one change. We opted not to print an entire new agenda. It's under new business, section B, Title I Services. Item number 3, Fairmont Christian School will be taken off. Any other changes to the agenda?
I do have a Southern Plains Educational Cooperative board meeting to report on.
Okay. Any other changes? All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Second it. Thank you. We have a motion by Dan, second by Mari. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. For celebrations and school community reports, we have Stephanie Bouchain here to talk about CER.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to give a brief summer recap. We had a great summer. We offered over 85 adult and youth offerings this summer. We had almost 1,400 participants in those 85 plus offerings. We were so thankful and grateful to have over 30 volunteers assist in making those programs happen for us this summer. We had 15 local business sponsors that assisted with flag football, t-ball, all of those things, which we are very appreciative of. Fortunate to have 2 interns through the Martin County and MVAC internship program. It was great to have them. That was an interesting placement. They spent part of their time with me at Fairmont CER, and then part of their time was at Martin County West. They were Martin County West graduates and spent some time over there with their community ed running some park playground programs. So it was a great summer there. Some new offerings that we had this summer, just to briefly touch on, we offered laser tag, which was a new offering, Grand Prix, some new art classes, an imagination station for some of our little kiddos, Legend Quest, and street ball basketball. So some new things this summer. We were also able to extend our adult basic ed program, our GED prep, and our English learner classes. We extended classes into June and July this summer, which we hadn't done in the past. In terms of building usage, our buildings, both the FES and Fairmont Junior Senior High School, were very busy this summer. They were used 5,029.98 hours. So almost 600 of those hours were non-district related, but the rest of them being district programming in some way, shape, or form. So that is just a very quick snippet of what was happening, all things CER this summer. Are there any questions for me?
So of the 15 businesses that were sponsoring, did they just on one event or one activity did they sponsor, or was there many activities that, or was it a general distribution of sponsorships?
Yeah, so we had a couple of businesses that sponsored both t-ball and flag football, but a lot of individual businesses. So, and those were the bulk of where those sponsorships would fall into place, our t-ball and our flag football programming. So,
okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Steph, when it came to the hot weather, how did that affect your programming and moving things around and such?
Yeah, that is always interesting. So we had another layer in terms of air quality this summer. So we obviously always encounter the heat index. We encounter, rain and weather delays, but then the air quality as well. So we, in a lot of cases, we kind of monitored that. We looked at, kind of what some neighboring districts and community eds were doing in terms of programming, what other entities in our community were doing. As we kind of creeped, we realized that, if we cancel because of air quality, rain, heat index in June, July, and August in Minnesota in the summer, are we ever going to have some of these programs? So we did allow parents, we extended those reminders that if you're not comfortable, if you know your kid better than anybody else. So if they just aren't going to thrive or be okay in this environment, that is okay. Please keep them at home. We added some additional water breaks. We moved programming inside when we could, a lot of times in those park playgrounds. Our office being located at the Southern Minnesota Educational Campus, we had some space to pull some things in when weather and air quality was an issue. Yeah.
I mean, very similar of what it would be in a wintertime
Exactly.
with programming and stuff, is that, we're going to have snow in Minnesota as well as hot weather, so. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Got any ideas for next year? Things you might want to expand on, or?
Yeah, so we've really tried to increase our youth programming, looking at some opportunities to increase some of our adult offerings. We've kind of plugged in 1 and 2 here and there. So have a few ideas floating about. We're still kind of trying to navigate the staffing piece with Prime, which is a fantastic program that our youth coordinator has kind of transitioned into. So that's filling some of his time during the school year, but gives him a lot of opportunities to get to know kids and then transition some extra fun programming, new ideas into the summer when Prime isn't operating. So
Maybe they'll tell him what they're interested in doing.
right, yeah, that's what we hope, for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Superintendent Tradow.
Thanks, Nicole. At the top of the report, as we do each meeting, review of enrollment. As we've gotten going with the school year, our enrollment has settled in, as I communicated a couple meetings ago. Our current student enrollment overall is 1,746 students, K-12. That's 25 more than where we started the year last year and 16 more than where we ended the year. And then on to some buildings and grounds updates. Last Thursday was an exciting day at Fairmont Area Schools as our partnership with Habitat for Humanity continued to grow. We have a rehab home project that was moved into our buildings that will be overseen by our instructor, Brad Johnson, but just another great community partnership that can give back to our community with that local entity. Additionally, most of our projects have reached completion prior to the start of the school year with some aesthetic finishing touches that need to go on them. So there are a few items that need to be completed but have not impacted, the student experience as we start the school year. So just another thank you to go out to our buildings and grounds, custodial maintenance, office staff, everybody that worked together to make sure our buildings were in great shape for our teachers and students to return. Just an update on strategic planning. Yesterday I was able to meet with our facilitator to continue progressing on that. We'll continue to develop some details of our vision card measurables, and then the operational plan will be finalized here soon. I will work with one of our local printing companies to develop a streamlined visual that will go out to the public summarizing the key points of our strategic plan. One thing I just wanted to bring to light, CPR training as well as AED administration. This year we had Activities Director Matt Mahoney organized one of our instructors, Chris Ingleby, who is certified to train in those areas, as well as brought in some local professionals to help all of our coaches and advisors of our extracurriculars to learn how to administer CPR and AEDs. And that was a great positive experience to equip our staff, as many staff, with those skills. Additionally, we're in the process of ordering somewhere between 4 and 6 additional AEDs. So when we have multiple events at home, we make sure every single event is covered. We do have a mobile unit. We have one located next to each of our gymnasiums. Our large venue areas, our Performing Arts Center has one, as well as other areas in our building, but we just want to make sure we expand that as much as we can to make sure we're covered. Another thing, the Big South Conference expansion, that press release was launched last week with the news that Belle Plaine Public Schools will become our 15th conference member school beginning the 24-25 school year. Additionally, prior to that, last spring, Tri-City United was announced as our 14th member. The Big South Conference is currently in the process of exploring a potential invitation for a 16th member, and at that point, we would end those pursuit of continual expansion. Either way, the result of that, we currently, of the 15 schools, we are exactly in the middle in terms of enrollment. State High School uses grades 10 through 12 student population as the enrollment in their determining factor when they redistrict and resection things on a every other year basis. If we added a 16th, that wouldn't change. We'd still be right in the middle. We'd either be on the top end of the smallest 8 schools or the bottom end of the biggest 8, just by comparison. So that we'll continue to work through that and updates provided if there are any moving forward. Stephanie mentioned Cardinal Prime. That is off and going. Just today we posted on our social media feed that we are seeking additional staff to meet the needs of those families and individuals that have been on the wait list since that program filled immediately. So we're in the process of trying to expand that. The upcoming events, we are, the school year gets started and things seem to just go faster and faster. So towards the end of this month, we have a host of homecoming activities that will take place the week of September 25th through the 29th. We will not have a school board meeting before that week, so wanted to make sure I just announced that for anyone viewing the streaming of our meeting here. And then our next meeting will be Tuesday, September 26th, right here at 5:15 p.m.
Just a reminder that it starts at 5:15 now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Question that I have was brought up to me with the addition to these new teams to our Big South Conference. This won't be in effect this year, correct?
No, beginning the 24-25 school year.
Correct. So are we looking at, when we schedule these games, that we are looking at the days that we do the scheduling for, let's say, go to Belle Plaine? Everybody knows, when you're to Belle Plaine, you're almost to the cities. And so some of the concerns I've heard is, weekday games and students traveling, and, are we looking at a time adjustment for some of those games because of the distance of the traveling? Or are we looking at kind of scheduling those more on weekend times versus weekday times? Has that even been brought forward? Has that any other concerns been heard?
The scheduling piece has primarily been discussed at the activities director level. I have not asked Matt those specific questions that you're asking, Julie, and it's something that we can definitely look into. I know, for example, we've previously had, Marshall, Pipestone, Laverne on the far west end of our conference, Waseca, to the most eastern part of our conference. So we've already had some of those challenges.
But I know some of them are, that's why they're bringing them forth again now, because some parents have felt, well, their kids are older now, and so maybe they weren't as involved in sports at that time, but because of the age your students are, it's being, questioned again. And so, as just being general consensus, to bring that knowledge forth that parents are considering those things, for their sports, for their students. So
in our younger grades 7, 8, 9, and depending on the activity, the 10th grade junior varsity level, those are traditionally scheduled earlier. Yesterday, one of our own children was in Belle Plaine for an event that started, it was originally scheduled 4:30. Busing pieces caused it to move to 5. The bus was back shortly after 9 p.m., and our 9th grader was home shortly thereafter. So the good thing is, as our kids get older, sometimes the good thing is our younger students, their contests start earlier.
Sure. But there again, then you're cutting into the school day. I mean, yes, the busing is
Yeah.
an issue, but if your games start at 4:30 in Belle Plaine, there again, then the school day is affected as well. So, like I said, it's. And I know sometimes we look at, I know in the past, I can think of back in the old C-line days where, you were all one conference, but you looked at kind of where you were at in that conference, so you didn't travel so far. So I'm just bringing this up because these concerns have been brought to me.
Yeah, and I will definitely pass those on to
Thank
Matt.
you.
And I do know that our activities directors as a whole, they put the schedule together in collaboration. Obviously, they have to schedule those events. And I know it's definitely not perfect.
No, and I
mean,
understand that part
and-
too. And
yeah.
like I said, I just want parents to know that we are considering their concerns.
Yeah, and we have, with the addition of these two schools, we have already, in a variety of activities, been competing against them in non-conference contests over the last several years. So, last year, Tri-City United was a non-conference basketball game for us. We had
But the
Bells
thing with a
playing them.
conference usually is you're playing in basketball, you're a lot of times playing twice. You're playing home and away.
Yeah, and
versus as a non-conference, you usually play them once.
Yeah, and last year they did change some things with basketball as that winter sport specifically.
Okay.
When they weren't playing every school twice. They broke the conference into 3 separate groups to distribute some of those travel concerns and
I was going to mention
to
that,
balance
yeah.
the competition.
With this larger group, that it's going to provide for the ability to split it up in 3 or even 4 different sections, depending on the sport and the enrollment, depending on how the coaches and the athletic directors agree to it. So I think it's going to be pretty flexible. I don't think we're going to have kids getting home at 11:30 on a Tuesday night very often. Any issues, I think the activities directors are pretty cognizant of. But I know that these schools really wanted to be part of the Big South Conference because they feel it's a very good fit for them academically, competitively, and that they feel that they're going to be better programs by competing against us and the people that we compete against already too. So I'm feeling pretty positive about it.
I'm not trying to make it sound negative, though. I want you to
I
understand.
yeah.
These are just comments that have been brought forth to me from the community. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion or questions for Superintendent Tradow? All right, then we will move on to financial business. We have donations first. Dan?
Yeah, we have an Appendix A, as provided for in Minnesota statutes. Fairmont Area School Board of Education has been offered the following donations or grants from Carla Lunn in the amount of $10,000 for purchase of a Safety Speed SR 5UA saw router combination machine to be used in CTE classes. Also from Tractor Supply Company, shop items valued at $600, including drill bits, sawzall blades, drills, and drill attachments for the maintenance shop. And from City of Lakes Garden Club, $150 to be used in the ag program and in the greenhouse. I move that we accept all of the donations as offered.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Dan, second by Jen. We'll have a roll call vote. Jen?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Julie?
Aye.
Mari?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. And thank you to all of those who were presented tonight and all the others in our community who support our schools so well. It's very appreciated. We will move on to financial reports and bills. Jessica?
So you have in front of you the wire transfers from August 17th to September 6th. There's nothing out of the ordinary other than our normal recurring ACHs and transfers on that list. And then you should have 3 different bill listings in front of you. Just some items to touch on is there was a significant bill of $32,025 for check number 68895. So in the bill listing that might say, probably that one, Julie. It's not the one that says single check or it says fiscal year 23. It does not have any notes at the top. So check 68895 to Bob's Piano Service for $32,025. That was for the restoration of the concert grand piano in the PAC building. So pretty much the piano is brand new after those changes. So should sound nice the next time we have a concert in the PAC. We also have.
We could have had a demonstration. They could have wheeled it in for us here tonight.
Well, once you move those, a lot of times that needs to be retuned.
Don't want to roll that down the street, huh?
No, not in Fairmont.
We also have check number 68919 to IS Restaurant Design Equipment and Supply for $25,876.09. This was the equipment portion of adding the second serving line to our K2 cafeteria to help speed up the lunch process. So hopefully will help. It's installed and they're able to use it this school year. So, and then we also have, again, our projects. So Nielsen Blacktopping, check number 68941, $101,460. It's another payment application for our athletic field entrance. And then check number 68956 to the Joseph Company for $140,669.35. Again, a partial payment on the high school spectator entrance. And then also check number 68959 to Western Waterproofing Company. So that is for our tennis court crack repair, which I played on, and that definitely has helped. So and that is all I have for the bills. Do you have any other questions?
I would just add some of those numbers are obviously sizable. The repair to the grand piano was at the recommendation of our music department and pales in comparison to a replacement cost. I believe that's a multiple 6-figure number to buy a new one. So money well spent, especially with the great success that our performing arts programs and fine arts have had and the use that it gets in our performing arts center. And then with some of the exterior projects, the food service addition line was on our K2 side. If you've been in there and observed it, the first couple days take a long time to get our youngest learners through those lines. So hopefully in time that makes that process more efficient, and we were able to use our food service reserve funds to pay for that. So that was a positive there. Some of the exterior projects, just a reminder, the athletic field entrance project, we did allocate our one-time ESSER funds for that project as well. So just to add some context, they're sizable projects, but definitely needed, and just to add clarification on where some of those funds came from.
Thank you. Any questions for Jessica or Superintendent Trado?
If not, then I would make a motion to approve the wire transfers for August 17, 2023 to September 6, 2023, the 8/31/2023 single checks, and payment of the September 12, 2023 bills.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion by Julie, second by Mari. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. New business. We have the teacher seniority list, and Mike is not here. Is there someone who would like to volunteer to do that for Mike?
It is included in our packet as an Appendix B, and teachers were given the opportunity to review it and to make any changes to anything that was listed on there. I thought it was very interesting. I know we have hired a lot of new teachers, but we also, I don't want to ever make it known that we don't have experienced staff as well. We have some great experienced staff, and so it's just amazing when I was paging through this the other day, how much experience our staff actually has. I mean, it's just amazing, the people that we have and all the experience that they have. They're all been open of and just receptive to some of the changes that we've suggested, that we have brought forth to them as part of the district and that. And so with that, I would just like to make a motion to approve the 2023-2024 teacher seniority list.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Julie, second by Dan. Any further discussion?
It is amazing how many teachers are 20-plus years in this list.
Well, and I also, when I look through it, I think it's wonderful that our students have an opportunity to learn from so many teachers who have their master's degree. We even have some who have PhDs. And one thing that I think it shows is a love of learning from our staff as well, which then translates, and hopefully our students can feel and understand and learn that love of learning for themselves. So thank you to all of our teachers for their dedicated work, and to our students and to our district as a whole. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the seniority list as presented?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. All right, we are moving to Title I services. Jessica? Oh.
Yes. So you
Okay.
have 3 contracts in front of you. And those are for the 3 participating non-public schools for Title I services. These are new this year. Previous years, there was a Fairmont Area Schools District employee that was providing the services to the non-parochial schools. Due to that resignation and non-replacement of that position, we have looked at contracting with Lutheran Special Education Ministries to provide the title services. They were actually working with a different non-public school, which is how we had come across them, and they provide title services to other districts in Minnesota as well. And I have reached out to them, and they've done a great job there. So yes, so we have the Title I allocations fluctuate from year to year. So that is what we needed to have in our contracts. And Brooke and I also did reach out and consult with MDE's monitoring contact, just to verify that we have everything in the contracts that we need to have, since this is brand new for all of us. Sure. So we made the changes to the contract with their suggestions, and so we have those contracts in front of you ready to approve and then ready to provide the services to the schools.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the Title I contract services as presented.
I'll second it.
Or, okay, I'll move it. She'll second it.
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
I thought you'd made the motion.
So we have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. All right, we are moving on to C, new business policy revisions. Jen?
So our policy committee met on September 7th to review the recent list of policy revisions received by MSBA. There were 4 policies that we did requiring full board approval, and you can see those are enclosed in your packet. Do you want me to go through them now or wait till the report?
You can, no, go through them now.
Okay.
Yep.
So the first one, the student discipline, that we now have certain parameters in place limiting the use of recess detention was kind of one of the main highlights in that one that was changed. And then the other portion of that one that was changed is the discipline complaint procedure. Adds a procedure about filing disciplinary complaints in the school system should the need arise. There's an actual form to go and fill out and everything now. The second one, the enrollment of non-resident students. The new policy allows for the denial of open enrolled students, but we have absolutely no plans to limit open enrollment, nor have we ever limited open enrollment in the past. We continue to welcome all students. Let's see, the third one, the overdose medication. We now carry Narcan in our schools, should that be needed for any overdose of anyone, and a licensed nurse can authorize, possess, and administer that if needed. And the fourth, the internet acceptable use and safety. This one we kind of had in place last year, I believe, with cell phone use, but it's now in our policy. It was added in that, you know, we can't have cell phone use during the school day. So I motion to approve those revised policies as stated.
Thank you. I'll second it. Any discussion? I just want to point out, we have a very thick pile of policy revisions that we're going through because the state has changed laws, et cetera, that we're looking at. And most all of the changes that are presented tonight are due to state law and those changes that they're recommended by MSBA to go along with those state laws or directly from the laws themselves. So we're actually, as a policy committee, trying to meet twice a month now instead of once a month, just so we can get through these as quickly as possible in accordance with the state's time frame that they are saying we all should get through them. There's quite a few, though, so we are doing our best, getting through as quickly as we can, and we look forward to presenting many more policies at the next few board meetings. So, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Personnel, Julie, resignation.
We just have one resignation. Tia Weringer has resigned her position as a special ed paraprofessional. I'd like to make a motion to accept that resignation. And that would be effective of August 23rd, 2023.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a motion by Julie, second by Mari. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Employment, Mari.
Yep. Principal Rosen is recommending that Megan Jamaron and Carrie Madison are hired as special education paraprofessionals at Fairmont Elementary. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the employment of Megan Jamaron as a special ed paraprofessional effective August 28th, 2023, step 1, and Carrie Madison as a special ed paraprofessional effective September 7th, 2023 at step 1.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Mari, second by Julie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to board committee reports. Jen, policy committee meeting?
So as I stated before, we all met and on the 7th of September, and we're going through the whole stack, like Nicole was saying, and there's many more to come.
To be continued.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Any questions for Jen? All right, Southern Plains, Julie?
Yes, we met August 28th, 2023 on a regular meeting, just basically regular business with hiring, transfers, change in work assignments. Again, there too, we covered a lot of the revisions of some of the same policies that we are looking through. We do them more as a part of the board to look at the policies, whereas in Southern Plains, they are done with the staff and then they're brought to us for approval. So it's a little bit less in depth, but it's interesting to see the same things being done. We approved a food service agreement with Southern Plains with the Fairmont area schools, which we had already discussed at our board meeting prior. The organization activities for the year that happened, the employee handbook we reviewed, the Arise Academy Student Handbook, set a usage rate for Arise program, and approve instructional sharing agreements as Southern Plains hires an individual and then kind of sublets them or lets other districts kind of use that individual as they need to fit their specific needs, so that each district doesn't have a partial teacher for, so it's kind of that they serve under the Southern Plains Board, but yet they don't have an individual teacher that's filling that role. So there was an agreement with Alpha Wireless and approved the Area Learning Center enrollment policy. And with that, that was it. And then our next meeting would be Monday, September 25th at 5 o'clock.
And any questions for Julie? All right. According to Minnesota Statute 13D.03, we are going to, assuming someone will make a motion to enter into closed session to discuss the superintendent's appraisal. Following our discussion, we will come back and reopen the meeting and then adjourn.
I'll make a motion to enter a closed session.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mike, second by Julie, to enter into a closed session to discuss the superintendent's evaluation.
I have a discussion point. Traditionally, we come back out of closed session and then adjourn, and then at the following board meeting, we would make comments or update on the evaluation. So I
Yes.
want people to hang
Yeah.
around.
If you hang around, you're going to be very disappointed because we're just going to come back and close it. So
Just for that clarification.
if you want to see our smiling faces one more time, just say goodnight. That's fine. But otherwise,
If they do want to see our smiling faces, they can watch it on tape
Yeah.
or watch it on.
yeah. So we have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. We will go into closed session. And board, we're going to go meet in the meeting room by the superintendent's office for this part.
I should have come 5 minutes later. I could have just stopped.
Saved yourself a few steps.